How do I define sustainability in global terms? What has changed in the last 6 years? The liquidity. The financial crisis, which started as a liquidity crisis, has moved into a funding crisis. Funding crisis has become a sovereign crisis. Sovereign crisis has become a solvency issue today. Nothing has changed. The world at large still reeling under pressure. I call it as a defining moment because this is the third phase of the global financial crisis. Phase one, when Lehman Brothers or Bear Stearns collapsed, September 14th, 2008. When we realized global politics and economics were converging on one issue, liquidity, we recognized the financial economies have to convert as real. And we realized consumers need to be protected. The recognition has revealed universal standard in terms of accounting, valuation, securitization. How do we fix the liquidity? That was the issue. Politicians have understood accommodative monetary policy has to come in. We have to print money. The United States clearly recognized as a global currency maker, recognized and understood accommodative monetary policy is a solution. Printing money, improving the liquidity, inflating the world. That was the slogan. Happened. Quantitative easing, we call. We printed the money. Trillions of dollars were put in the money market. It was chasing the stock market. The financial market volatility was visible. The hot money was transcending borders. It even infected the emerging markets. Clearly, asset price inflation was on. That's phase two, when quantitative easing was clearly understood as a tool, accommodative monetary tool. Are we going to fix it by inflating this wall? It's like taking a patient in the ICU and connecting with oxygen. The minute you pull out a cylinder, he's out. That's not sustainability. What we need to articulate is how do we eradicate extreme poverty? How do we bring in gender equality? How do we set in universal health care? How do we bring in clear education for each and everyone? How do we sustain environment? How do we make sure global partnership we create and value add to humanity? That's the diction. That has not happened. Now we are in phase three. We have set an agenda in the coming week, as I mentioned. It talks about a clear mandate. What is likely to happen in real terms if the bond buying programs? It's not only Federal Reserve. Federal Reserve started as a committed mission to improve the liquidity. Dollar is a universal currency, as I said. World at large, the global growth is at stake. We recognize we have bigger challenge at stake. Financial economies are still converting as real. Real economies are redefining the scope and performance. Communism is resetting its button. Capitalism is altering its form and substance. Mixed economies are miserable. Incremental growth comes out of the emerging market. Over 60% of the global productivity comes out of the emerging markets. They are decelerating when bond buying program was put to test. Deceleration in terms of currency market, commodity market, bond market, property market. Fiscal consolidation is the major issue. America is still reeling under pressure. We know unemployment is getting fixed. We also know housing market is recovering. We know inflation is coming up. Interest rate is going to be normalized. That's not the end. Sustainability comes out of incremental growth, productivity in substance. It's not visible. Europe, as a design, is in error. While the monetary policy is centralized in large Europe, as defined by the Maastricht criteria, individuals or institutions, countries or continents who have lived beyond their means have to pay a price. That's the dictum. And that's what's precisely happening. While the monetary policy is centralized, fiscal policy is still indisciplined. You need fiscal union. You need to create a banking union to make sure financial stability comes in. So Europe is at stake. Emerging markets, which are interconnected, interdependent in global terms, have to come to terms to redefine. And that's the substance. We have a bigger challenge to reorganize the interconnectivity between the developing world and developed world, contentious issues, whether it is trade or investments, banking or finance, we have between these two emerging markets. Emerging power in terms of incremental growth, developed economies as political vibes,